Ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between, welcome to Talking at 6. I am your host, 1-6, a.k.a. Canadian Phineas and Ferb, a.k.a. Rage on the Page, a.k.a. the Teletoon Goon, a.k.a. Corey riffing when he's spitting, a.k.a. Laney Penn for the win, a.k.a. Ken and Con dropping bombs, metaphorically that is, a.k.a. Nick Mallory's favorite Nick Mallory, a.k.a. Lyrical Teen Angst, a.k.a. More Punk Than Funk, a.k.a. Mina flipping the script on Trina, a.k.a. Sensational Inspiration, a.k.a. These only make sense if you've seen the show. In today's episode, I'll be discussing / reviewing the Canadian animated series, GrojBand. And for those of you that are unaware, GrojBand, I don't know, man, check it out. Show's on YouTube. The episode's available on YouTube. But basically, part of the show is it's band of like kids, like young teenagers, like middle school kids, and this band they form together. They practice in the garage. That's the name, GrojBand. But pretty much the whole plot is like the lead singer Corey, his sister, is like against them playing music. She's just typical older sister, like just mad at them for no reason other than he's her younger brother and his friends. And essentially, her whole goal is like to stop them from playing music. While also, like, it's a lot like Phineas and Ferb, where like Candace has the issue with Phineas and Ferb just because the sake of them doing stuff. She's like, why? Like, mad at them for no real reason. She has no real reason to try to stop them, but she wants to anyway, just to get them in trouble. There's no real reason to not like Corey's band. It's other than the fact that it's Corey's band. She has no connection to them other than that. She doesn't care. Like, honestly, they affect her life, and they have no real, like, connection to her life, no real reason for her to hate them, but she does. Essentially, the plot is like every week, every episode, it's like a new plot of they need a new song that has a different sound for this event that's going on. Like, oh, we need to make a trailer song for this new movie that's premiering in town. We should make a really awesome song so we can get in the trailer and be famous from that. Like their whole goal is to make it big, like to come up with some new song that'll just be a huge hit, to get it in some way, and like to get it in something in some crazy wacky way, or like some great thing that just fits this perfect moment. Like there's one where like they become a jug band because there's like this country western festival in town, and it's like, we gotta be the best jug band ever. They're reading this, like playing this hoedown and be great. And so there's like, they open up the garage door and just all these jugs flooding. And I was like, it's like, how many jugs do we need to be in a jug band? One? Like, yeah, I think we have enough. Just a garage full of jugs. And eventually, like, Trina comes out. She hates country things in general, just everything country. So she hears the jug music, comes down, starts smashing the jugs so they can't play. And while smashing them, she finds a genie and, like, just wishes that they can't play. Like, he's super, like, country genie, too. Like, he has a trucker hat on. He's, like, spitting, like, chewing tobacco and spitting every time someone makes a wish. Every time she makes a wish, he spits. It's hilarious. But, he, like, she wishes that Corey's band can never play music again. Like, they never played music. So he wishes that and they can't play. Like, they go to play their instruments and it just sounds terrible. And so, in order to fix it, they start digging through the jugs to find their own genie. And it results in like this massive genie battle where eventually like they're almost out of wishes. Like, you have one wish left, better make it good. They both end up wishing for 1,000,000 wishes. Realize, there's no rule that genies that you can't wish for more wishes. So they both wish for 1,000,000 wishes and start destroying each other's lives with wishes. Have a giant wish battle. But eventually Corey wishes that like he makes a wish. I forgot what his wish was, but I wish I figured I knew how to beat Trina. And he figures it out when he makes that wish. He figures out how to beat Trina, so he makes a wish that runs her life in a way that she wishes he wasn't her brother anymore. So now they can play music because it's no longer his brother, no longer her brother's band. So they can play music. And then like the big plot of the show, like big part of the whole thing is like Corey can't write lyrics. They're just horrible at writing lyrics. They get their lyrics from Trina. Like they make her really mad. She freaks out. Like this giant, like intense, like montage. I guess montage was a sequence. That's the word I was looking for. Sequence like she goes like super insane. Like she almost goes super saiyan and starts to write in her journal and like in fire. Like there's fire coming out of the pen. And like she like passes out afterwards, and the journal usually falls right into Corey's hand, and they use that as lyrics. That's just how they get the lyrics for every song. And like she ended up using that, and like in the song they just wish away all their wishes and set their lives back to normal, and it's a great time, and like everything goes back to normal, happy ending. But in the process, they also get a really great song out of it, and it's pretty much the plot for every episode is like they're getting into a situation where like they need to play. Like there's one where they're like it's like a demolition derby race. It's not straight up demolition derby, but it's like a death race almost, where like the cars like crashing into each other while racing. and like their car is powered by them playing music. Like their car has just giant amps on the back, and it's powered by like their car's propelled by them playing music. But they have like the music, they have the instruments, but they have no lyrics. So I forgot how they do. I think they like took Trina's stuffed animal and strapped him to the front of the car, and then like made her freak out because the other cars were trying to destroy them. And so they freaked out. They got their lyrics, and that's how they end up winning the race. But it's like the plot for every episode is like they get in a situation where like they need to make a song, but they'll have a song. They'll have like the music, but no lyrics. So they gotta make her freak out in some way to get lyrics, and like the lyrics always fit the situation. It's funny because like it's always like really fitting and like honestly really dope songs. Why I call it Canadian Phineas and Ferb, because like every episode there's a different song, kind of like how Phineas and Ferb. There's always like a different wacky adventure that also has a song tied into it somehow, either through Phineas and Ferb or like with Doofenshmirtz and Perry. But yeah, like, and this is like every episode has a dope song, and it's like they're 2-part episodes. Like there's part A, part B for every episode. And it's like 2 different storylines, but like they all both storylines have a good song. They're like decent songs too. Like they're pretty catchy. There's one where it's like the Jugman one's really catchy. It's one of my favorites. It's like, I wish away my wishes. I can't sing for shit, so I'm not going to butcher that song, but that's a pretty good one. And then there's this one where it's like the first episode is actually a Halloween episode. It's kind of weird, but it's not even the song of the episode. It's just Corey has his amp, like this glow in the dark skull on it, and it looks really awesome. But it turns out it's haunted, and they don't find that out until like they're playing. Like they get thrown out of the gym because they're gonna play the school dance, but the sister's in charge, so they're gonna play the Halloween dance. But she didn't let them. She kicks them out, and they're in a graveyard playing. And he's just, Halloween can sound so creepy if you sing a ghostly just like me. Like I said, I can't sing, but like that's honestly one of my favorite songs of the show. Like in the first episode, it was one of the best ones. It's super dope. But that's not even the song of the episode. That's just them like goofing around playing. Ends up raising the dead. They get attacked by zombies. They come to the dance. They trash the dance. Eventually, Trina freaks out. They get lyrics and they actually make a new song that puts the zombies back in the grave. That gets them like, let's do the zombie dance. Anyway, it gets the zombies like to relax and go back into the grave. Like it makes the zombies go back to the grave. But the whole reason why they raised the dead in the first place was it turns out Corey's amp was haunted. And they got it for super. He got it for super cheap. So they got this crazy deal on his amp, but it was haunted. And he goes to return it, and the store won't let him return it. But they also like, yep, sorry, you can't return it. Now, do you want to buy some haunted cheese? Which leads to another bit of like the running bit of the series is like the scene transitions are like always musical. Like not always, it was like just musical ones like wicked cool transition. Like something like a transition coming on the screen and swipes away. But like that one they try to get them to buy haunted cheese. It's haunted cheese transition. It's so good. Like they're always awesome. There's one where like they tell the story about these 2 brothers who started the whole jug band thing because of during a heat wave. It was so hot that they sold their instruments to buy jugs of root beer. When they went to drink the root beer, it evaporated. So you started crying, and like them crying like made blew wind across the jugs and made the jug sound. I was like, oh, it's awesome. And he just figured out they made jug music from that. It's like, oh, let me guess, they live forever. They live happy ever. I was like, what? No. They died from thirst. You see how hot it was? It was just wicked hot transition. It's just 2 skulls pop up. It's so funny. But there was one. There was I forgot what happened, but something happened. That, like they were getting blamed for, it, but it's like it wasn't their fault. And transition's just, it was not our fault. It's so good, man. They're really great. They're really great transitions. It's awesome. They also have this rival band called the Newmans, which is like they're like. It's basically the gender swap version of the GrojBand. And it's like, the funny part is like, their like bass player is a girl that everyone in the band just think, like, well, not even just everyone in the band, like literally everyone in town just thinks she's a dude with long hair. Like no one ever really acknowledges that they never really acknowledge that she's a girl. For some reason, they all think she's just a dude with long hair. And it's just the funniest thing. I don't know why. I guess it's really funny to me. It's like, oh yeah, like, even Corey, like, she also has this like massive crush on Corey, and he doesn't notice that she's a girl for some reason. Like he's just one of the main people that never notices that she's a girl. The other student fans kind of know she's a girl. Like sometimes they acknowledge it, but mostly it's just like they just treat her like a dude. Some of the Newmans, like all their band members are girl except for their bass player's a boy, and they treat him like a girl. It's just so stupid. But it's like all the rival band, the Newmans, they're voiced by the same voice actors as GrojBand. So it's just like they all voice their gender swap roles. Except for I think the bass players are the only ones that are like voiced by 2 different people. I can't remember though. That was one of the things I might have saw one day. I was like looking up stuff about the show, or was doing my quote research for the show, which honestly is mostly just looking up character names, seeing where like trying to get like facts of when the show started and where it originally aired and how long it ran for, how many episodes, or how many seasons, which most of the time I don't pay attention to or I don't use, or honestly isn't that interesting. Because I mean, let's be honest, I'm not here to spit out facts. You're probably not here to listen to facts. If you are, why come to me for facts? I'll talk about cartoons and shows and music, and movies, and video games. And then I go on rants about those things that are triggered by other things that lead to nothing. And then somehow try to bring it back to the topic I was originally on. Even if it doesn't really make any sense. Even if it is really confusing and kind of pointless. And honestly, I'm going to be honest with y'all, I'll lost track in this rant right now. I don't even remember where it started or where I was going with it. But yeah, it's pretty funny. Like, it's one of those, like, it's not, I don't know, I want to say it's like not super deep, like deep writing, deeply dramatic. Like, it's a one-off show. It's like, it's one of those ones, I mean, you got kids, you babysitting, you got younger siblings, you can throw this on with them, watch it and laugh together. Like, it's not a like incredibly intense show or like super deep. It's like one of those, just like, it's funny, it's musical, it's brightly colored. I mean, it's just a chill moment, just a relaxing show, just kind of a chill out moment. But honestly, like, once again, Canadian. I said this in the last episode, I'm bringing back this one too, because that's the whole point of these two episodes. Canadian cartoons are good, man. They're really good, and they don't get the credit they deserve. They're not talked about enough. Like, get it, the whole, like, U.S., the whole thing is to trash Canada and talk down on Canada, and, Canada's nothing. But, I mean, Canada got some good animated series, man. Like, we can take a page out of their book, and they're also, like, really unique concepts and aren't the same thing you see on every show. Canada makes almost animated sitcoms where, like, America, like, just kind of recycles the same plot on cartoons, and, like, they do get to the point where they kind of do the predictable things. Cartoons are, like, rarely ever new ideas. It's kind of just like you take the same concept, you just swap the characters around. Like, I mean, it's like kind of like the whole Hanna-Barbera era of cartoons. Like, you had the Flintstones, you had the Jetsons. The Jetsons were basically the Flintstones in space. Like, we got the Caveman show. Let's go all the way to the future. Let's go all the way to the future. Yeah, I mean, Tom and Jerry is pretty different. But okay, I guess my Hanna-Barbera rant is Scooby-Doo, Speed Buggy, Jabberjaw, and I want to say it's called the Funky Phantom, are all the same show. You just swap what the weird talking thing was. Like a Scooby-Doo, you got the talking dog. That's not normal. They solve mysteries, but teenagers in advance solving mysteries with a talking dog. That's wacky. They have a talking dog. Speed Buggy, bunch of teenagers in a dune buggy solving mysteries. But hold up, there's more. The dune buggy can talk. It's like a Scooby-Doo, but you made the car talk. But wait, we got another one for you. It's called Jabberjaw. It's a bunch of teenagers underwater solving mysteries with a talking shark. It's like, dude, that's literally Scooby. Jabberjaw is literally Scooby-Doo with a shark. Alright? There's nothing you can say. It's like, but it's different. It's like, no, don't get me wrong. The theme song is awesome. They call him Jab, 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 Jabberjaw. Jabberjaw, great theme song. He's like Curly from Three Stooges, but it's like, Jabberjaw. I'm not gonna hate on it. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying Jabberjaw is underwater Scooby-Doo. Alright? There's a reason why Scooby-Doo took off and none of these other series went further. Like, there's why they still make Scooby-Doo now. Because Scooby-Doo's like great. Scooby-Doo's good. Like, the concept of Jabberjaw, it's like, okay, I get it. Like, it's one of those things where, like, Hanna-Barbera made their own knockoff shows. But, like, you got this network made this thing, and then a different network makes a knockoff of that show trying to capitalize on their popularity, and just doesn't quite get there, just doesn't quite. It's like how Marvel did Avengers. I meant the movies, not the comics. Clearly comics deplete everything. I'm saying how, like, Marvel did all this, spent all this time building up the Avengers movies, building up their universe, and then got the Avengers movie, where DC just jumped straight into Justice League, and it didn't quite work because there just wasn't enough invested into it building up to that series. They didn't build up. It's like, we're just going to jump straight into it. They kind of just, like, snatched their idea, like, their concept, kind of ripped it off their concept for the movie universe and just tried to jump straight in it. It's how, like, Universal tried to do the Dark Monster universe and just jumped in too soon, and it just didn't work. It's like, how other, like, at least with those, it's like, other companies ripped them off. Hanna-Barbera ripped themselves off. It's like you ripped off your own show multiple times. It's not just like, you did it once. You did it once. You ripped off Scooby-Doo with Jabberjaw and quit. It's like you also ripped it off with Speed Buggy. And I can't remember. I want to say it's the Funky Phantom, but I can't remember the name of the show. But it's essentially Scooby-Doo with a ghost that lives in a clock. It's like an old-timey, like almost I want to say colonial ghost, kind of like colonial U.S. like old school ghost that lives in a clock, and he also has a ghost cat with him, and like he lives in a grandfather clock, and he solves mysteries with kids, and it's just like, dude, this is Scooby Doo with a ghost. Why, Hanna-Barbera? Why? Just why? They brought you the same show 7 times. But then later on, they've also brought us Dexter's Lab, Johnny Bravo, Powerpuff Girls, so you can't really hate them on them for that, because Hanna-Barbera made Cartoon Network. Hanna-Barbera shows were like the foundation for early Cartoon Network, which is why Cartoon Network always has like, honestly, it's top tier. Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon is super close. I want to say early on in life, Cartoon Network had it better. Cartoon Network had me like better, but then Nickelodeon has some hits. You know, you got Rugrats, you got Doug, you got Rocko's Modern Life, and like those were the early hits. Those were the early like Snake hits, and those were the animated hits. Cartoon Network has done something that not Cartoon Network. Nickelodeon has done something that Cartoon Network has never been able to do, which is live action. Nickelodeon live action shows were hits, then they kind of fell off after that. They kind of fell off now, but they had monster hit live action shows for a while. Cartoon Network tried. I want to say they tried like once or twice with live action. It just didn't work. Cartoon Network. I mean, it's in your name, man. Cartoon Network. Stick to the animation. Don't touch the live action shows. Now Disney, on the other hand, Disney's live action shows hit harder than Disney's animated shows. Like Disney has some classic animated shows though. You got the Buzz on Maggie. You got Days the Barbarian. You got Brandy and Mr. Whiskers. You got Kim Possible. You got American Dragon Jake Long. Like, I know I'm not naming all of them. I know there's some ones I'm missing. You're probably going to light me up for missing those. But what I'm saying is, like, oh, you got the Proud Family, man. How could I miss the Proud Family? But, like, you got those hits. And then you got their live action shows. You got, like, Sweet Life is Acting Good. I guess, to be fair, Nickelodeon's, like, prime live action shows were hitting before Disney's live action shows. What was Disney? Like, what was Disney Channel doing in the early 90s, man? Remember Disney Channel used to be like the wackiest channel because it used to go off at night. It used to go to old school Disney. It would go to black and white and play like the old school Disney movies and stuff. Not even Disney movies, like the old school live action Disney movies. Like the stuff around the era of like Herbie, but I don't think it was ever actually played Herbie, but it played stuff that like no kid was watching. And like Nickelodeon switched to Nick at Night. And then Cartoon Network, I think Cartoon Network was cartoons all night. But it also, like, you got past like 1, 2 in the morning. It went to like old school late night Hanna-Barbera, which is actually still pretty cool though. It went to like Wacky Races and Laugh Olympics, and those were dope. And that was the only time you could watch those. They just would not show those during the day. And those shows were like, dude, this is so awesome. Like, Wacky Races was dope, man. The whole concept of Wacky Races, like, why didn't they never make a Wacky Races game? I feel like the concept of Wacky Races was like the foundation for Mario Kart. Like, get me wrong, I get it, like Mario has his characters, like what if these characters like race go-karts, but I feel like that had to be slightly inspired by the like Wacky Races in some way, man, because this is essentially what it was. It's like it's crazy over the top racing with like different stylized carts. Well, I guess carts got something just like go-karts, but I feel like Wacky Races had some influence on it. And then Laugh Olympics was like, once again, Hanna-Barbera ripping itself off. Laugh Olympics was like Wacky Races, but at the Olympics. I'm like, Laugh Olympics was okay. It wasn't as good as Wacky Races. It was like, oh, okay, it's pretty funny. It was like, what if these characters did, sorry. What if these characters did Olympic events, competed against each other in Olympic events? And it was funny because like, it was like, oh, you know, it was like the Wacky Races setup where it's like, okay, bunch of random teams and just random characters, and there's that one team that was all villains. And Dick Dashley was in it, and Muttley, dude, I love Muttley. Shout out to Muttley. Muttley! Muttley's just the worst sidekick ever. Granted, yeah, he blamed Muttley for everything and made Muttley do all the grunt work, but Muttley was a sidekick. He just walked away grumbling. Would also laugh at him every time anything went wrong. Muttley's just in the corner laughing. Muttley! But, yeah. Question is, was Muttley the original sarcastic villain sidekick? Like, was he the original, like, snobby henchman? Basically, the point I'm getting at is, was Muttley the inspiration for Shigo? You know, the hench person who just constantly tears down the villain, who's there, kind of assists them, kind of gives them back up, but mostly just undermines all their plans and just constantly tears them down. never never fully believes in their idea, kind of backs them up, but I'm just here so I don't get fined, man. Just essentially pulling a Marshawn Lynch just there because they have to be. Man, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not even fully sure how I got all the way off topic to this point, but I mean, like, it's somewhat still relevant because it is still animation. But yeah, I'm gonna try to bring it back real quick. Let's see, Wacky Races, Muttley, animated music, GrojBand. So Hanna-Barbera cartoons had great music, you know. Alright, I'm gonna do that. But yeah, dude, like GrojBand was great. Like, it was really like it's pretty, like, it's a decent show. I definitely recommend watching it. Like, I recommend checking out a couple episodes. I don't know if I ever watched the full series. I think it's only like a season long, but I don't know if I watched every episode. But like, there was a while when it was on Netflix, and I watched a decent chunk of it. I might have watched it all on Netflix, but now it's on YouTube. You can find all the episodes on YouTube. It's definitely worth checking out. Like, it's not a it's one of those things where you don't even gotta watch, like, canonically. You don't even gotta watch the episodes in order. You can just jump around from episode to episode because none of it's like really linked up. You know what it is? The animation style of it kind of reminds me of Johnny Test, which is like really dope show. That was like, I want to say it was Kids WB. Then like it went to Cartoon Network, and like it lived there for a while. And Johnny Test is actually one of those. It's a dope show. It's pretty decent. It's underrated. Like, I saw this picture the other day, like, posted on social media. It was Johnny from the Johnny, like a Johnny Test account. And it's like, who missed this? And one of the comments was some dude just said, nobody. And then the Johnny Test account just responded to it with a frowny face. And it's like, dude, Johnny Test was actually pretty dope. Like, we're hating on it, man. It was funny, you know? It was those shows where, like, it didn't try too hard. It was just, hey, we make stupid jokes, you know? We make poop jokes because it's a show for kids. Like, not every animated series. I feel like there's too much. Like, there's the expectation for anime shows these days is like too high. Like, you expect too much out of animated series. It's like, well, blah blah blah. Like, there's no arching storyline, and it's not deep, and it doesn't get real political and talk about social issues. Like, yeah, because all these shows are made for kids. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm all for adults watching cartoons. I mean, I'm an adult who loves cartoons. I still watch cartoons, and I get it. But at the same time, I was like, this show airing on a kids network, it's not going to be made for someone in their mid-20s because it's a kids show. It's like, this show is boring. It doesn't appeal to me. It doesn't appeal to you because you're in your mid-20s. Shut the fuck up. Like, it's not meant to appeal to you. You're not its audience. You're not out buying toys. It's to get kids. TV shows, like, literally, cartoons are made to get kids to talk their parents into buying them things. Cartoons originally started as a way to sell ad space. Like, Transformers, the series, was just made to sell Transformers, the shows. It's just, like, it's stupid. Like, Transformers the series, like, G.I. Joe. The G.I. Joe series was just one long commercial for the G.I. Joe toys. Like, the series existed to get kids to get their parents to buy them the toys. Cartoons aren't here. You know, I'm not saying cartoons can't entertain, cartoons can't be entertaining, cartoons can't be deep. I like cartoons can be all those things. Cartoons can be really amazing because of great storylines. What I'm saying is, not every show is meant to appeal to you. Like, Rick and Morty is made to appeal to adults. It does that. It gets really deep. Adventure Time is one of those, like, Adventure Time and Steven Universe are one of those shows where, like, they're weird, like, I don't want to say flukes, but, like, they're, like, almost unexpected. Like, you don't get hit shows like this every day. You don't expect every show to be this. You don't get hits. Those are those rare gems that, like, they're really awesome. They go above and beyond and appeal to everyone, appeal to adults, and have those really, like, deep, enwrapping storylines that make you want to believe in it. Basically, what I'm saying is, those shows were technically made for kids. They're aimed as kid shows. But they have that deeper storyline that appealed to adults. And I feel like as the show went on, it went more for that audience. It didn't try so much for the kid audience. Not saying it, like, completely alienated kids. They're like, this shouldn't be on Cartoon Network anymore. It should be on Adult Swim. They still aimed in the kid area. I didn't fully watch either one of those series, so I could be completely talking out of my ass right now. But, like, they did do deeper storylines and more emotional connection. And maybe some kids do like these things. Maybe these things do appeal to some kids. I just feel like with these shows, I hear more about it from people in their 20s. Granted, I don't hang out with kids because I'm an adult and I'd be creepy as hell. Why would I be talking to people's kids? That's wrong. Like, I don't hang out with kids. That's weird as hell. But, like, I don't know. I guess I'm saying, like, when you see it online, you see buzz online, you see talk online, you see adults, like, getting upset that this show didn't end the way I wanted it to, or this series didn't go the way I wanted it to, or this series took an arc that I didn't took an arc that I didn't think it would go, or the arc I wanted to take it completely ignored, or this character didn't develop the way I wanted it to. But it's like, okay, but have you stopped thinking about maybe this show wasn't made for you? maybe you do enjoy it, but maybe you aren't the target audience of this show. Maybe this show was made to target kids. Maybe this show was made to sell toys. Maybe someone in their 20s shouldn't be so wrapped up in what a cartoon thinks. And I know that's saying a lot coming from the guy that literally makes a podcast about cartoons, but also talk about movies and not live action TV shows eventually, I think. I honestly don't think I've done one live action show yet. I've done 2 movies on here. I have done a live action show, but it technically wasn't a full episode strictly about the live action show. Method and Red was a live action show, but that was on the podcast episode about Method and Red, man, not strictly the live action show. But it counts. I'm gonna count it. I know I haven't done live action because sitcoms, like, those I'm waiting to get into. I'm gonna get into those, I'm gonna get deep into those, but those, like, you gotta watch way more episodes to get that. Like, for an anime series, you can watch, like, the first season, or you can, like, binge a couple episodes. You can binge even, like, season or 2 and you good, but with a, like, a full-blown sitcom, like, you have to, like, so much changes between the beginning of that series and the end of that series. So much will change, like, character-wise and stories and plot and just, like, the way the characters act and, like, because of, like, the acting. Not saying voice actors don't do a great job. Voice acting is great. I'm saying because writers for anime series don't change because they do. They, like, develop. What I'm saying is, like, live-action shows are more, I want to say they feel like they're almost more scrutinized, like, by critics and by, like, their fan base than live-action shows. I mean, yeah, no. Live action shows than animated, sorry. Live action shows are more scrutinized than animated shows because animated series almost get written off as like, oh, it's animated, it's for kids. So even if it does this, something you don't like, you kind of gets pushed off, or like people don't ever really give it a chance. Even like adult animation, people won't fully give it a chance because it's animated. It's like, I don't care. I'm not a kid. It's not gonna appeal to me. But it's like, look at BoJack Horseman. Like, that is a show straight up animated series for adults. Like, it's a really dope series, and like it started off really funny. I'm not going to go fully into it. I'm not going to do any spoilers here, but I'm going to do a full episode on it eventually. But, like, it starts off really funny and comical and just stupid and, like, hot, wacky. And then by the end of the series, it's like, man, this got really deep and emotional and got some really serious topics and dove deep into things I didn't think it would hit on. Like, I thought it was just going to make jokes about it, like loose, lighthearted jokes and everything. Wouldn't never fully, like, dive into a topic, but it did. But, speaking of fully diving in and having deep moral repercussions and moral lessons, at the end of every episode of GrojBand, Corey does a wrap up where it's like where it's like almost a lesson, like, oh, what I learned today, and so Corey, what did you learn today? And like he like spotlight shines on him, everything else dims the spotlight on him, and he goes into just like he goes on about like, oh, the lesson he learned through today's episode and what he learned from today's adventure, and like. And but it's all he comes out and it's like, Corey, those would have been great lyrics for the song. Like, he always said something that could have made the song they did that day. Instead of getting lyrics from Trina, he could have, like, his lesson he learned, the way he felt, what he experienced, could have been a lesson, could have been lyrics for the song that they didn't need to rip from Trina. But honestly, like, it's great. It's kind of wacky. It's kind of off. Like, oh, you weren't expecting it, then bam, you know, the out of nowhere punch. But yeah, dude, honestly, I'm going to go ahead and try to wrap this up now. But GrojBand, decent series. I won't say great. I'll say just under great. I won't say great, but it's like, it's good. It's above average. It's more than just good. It's very good. Highly recommend it. It may not be the greatest thing ever. I'm not saying I don't recommend you don't have to go through every episode, but like, I just recommend checking out a couple episodes, or if you don't even feel like watching the series, just check out the songs. Like, you can just search some songs on YouTube, and there's some pretty dope songs. Like, they're pretty catchy, man. They're pretty dope. There's this one that's kind of inspired by this guy that reminds me of Alice Cooper, where they're trying to write a campfire song, and it's like, it's super crazy, and they scare the kids senseless, and it's really awesome. But yeah, dude, highly recommend checking that out. It's a great series. You know, check it out. Let me know what you think. You can find me at Talking 6, or is it Talk That 6 on Twitter, at Talking That 6 on Facebook, and of course, Talking That 6 on YouTube. But yeah, guys, thanks for checking out the episode. Feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And remember, I might not be the greatest. I might not be shit. But I will always talk that 6. See ya.